up, UCB Sunset? Welcome to this year-end Cracked Live podcast. My name's Jack O'Brien. I'm the editor-in-chief of Cracked. And joining me on stage, he is Cracked's resident font of sexual charisma, Mr. Alex Schmitty the Clam Schmidt. Hi. And a hilarious stand-up who has appeared on the Oddball comedy tour, Outside Lands, podcasts like Put Your Hands Together, and NPR's Snap Judgment. Please welcome Caitlin Gill! And next to her, a hilarious writer-performer at Cracked. Please welcome Dr. Mr. Cody Johnston! And the head of Cracked Video, the Abs of Steel. Please welcome Mr. Daniel O'Brien! Yeah!
This sounds like a crowd that is ready to say goodbye to 2016.
All right, so round of applause. Good year or best year ever?
Just clap. It doesn't matter. Yes, answer that question in a round of applause. Answer that binary.
So, it's a year in review. We are going to have three main segments. A year in review segment, wherein we kind of look at the way other publications, lesser publications, like Time Magazine, are reviewing the year and provide our thoughts on that. We're going to talk about some news stories everybody got wrong this year. And then we're going to talk about, everybody's going to pick a cultural thing of the year or two. It could be a meme, a photograph, a dance move. Then we're going to ask these folks to give us a 1-minute preview from the 2017 year in review. But let's start in, guys. Donald Trump is the person of the year. Now, people are like getting mad saying that means that Time Magazine thinks he was the best person this year, which would imply that they thought Hitler was the best person in World War II twice. But I think that award was essentially like made for the year Donald Trump had. I feel like we all discovered on November 9th that we were living inside a wet dream being had by Donald Trump.
Oh, but a wet nightmare.
Right.
Where you come and then realize it was your mom the whole time. This was not his plan. He didn't intend for this to work
The cum was coming from inside the house.
Yes, it was.
I think the cover even calls him, it says Donald Trump, and then it says President of the Divided States of America.
Yeah, right.
Which is not what you say when somebody wins and we're stoked.
Right.
No.
It's not.
Did you see the clip of Trump at I'm sorry, anybody else can talk at any
Man of
time.
the year,
Stop
person
me.
of the year?
No, the person of the year, man of the year bullshit.
Yeah. He polls the crowd. He's like, how many think that they should have changed it to man of the year? Not enough? I'm going to ask again.
Ask
he
more
asks
times.
them again, so they cheer louder for him.
He asked a total of 4 times, should it be person of the year or should they call me boy of the year, which is what I'll call him out of respect.
Yeah, boy of the year.
Little
boy.
Trump, boy of the year.
Boy of the year.
Big boy of the year. He asked them a total of 4 times and gets different levels of applause each time. And then once he's wasted 6 minutes of everyone's lives, he goes, anyway, who cares? Who cares about that?
Literally says, who cares?
His whole point was like, women. Look, women are cheer. Women think it should be man of the year. That's what women think. As if women in that crowd aren't tempered to loud men yelling over them, informing them of their opinion. As if that's not their every day.
If we were to summarize, he is mad that Time Magazine called him a person.
Yeah, he's upset
That's
about being
it.
a person. How are they gonna know I'm a man?
Right. I mean, I guess if we're picking sides, I'm also mad Time called him a person.
Also, Prince's passing gave rise to one of my favorite kind of genres of news story that I didn't know existed, which is just Prince stories.
Yeah, man.
There are so many good Prince stories of
It's
him
endless.
just being like the greatest bitch in the world
Yeah.
to famous people. I think I have some here.
I have one. Do you need one?
Yes.
Do you want a filler?
Yeah.
I do a show with Bobcat Goldthwait. He's also my roommate and my tour buddy. I love him. He's the best. He was once Prince's birthday present.
I don't think we need
Prince-
any more information.
Prince just said, exactly. Prince just said, I want to meet Bobcat for my birthday. And then Bobcat was at his party, like plain limo style. And then they met in like a small space in his home. Like Bob was led to like a hallway. And then Prince entered. And the part of Bob's story that I will save is the joke that he made to Prince that Prince did not respond to. Not didn't like, just didn't really respond to. And then Prince just, and then turned and went back to the party. Like leaving Bob just like, all right, I guess that was Prince's birthday present.
One at random, he was dating Carmen Electra, and she started dating somebody else. And he said, I wrote a song about you, and flew her to Minneapolis and played I Hate You to her. She said it was hard to hear, and it was even harder to hear the parts of the song that said it could have been a completely different way than to say, I hate you because I love you. I literally cried in front of him. I think he just wanted me to hear it and know that he was really upset. Then he flew me back to Los Angeles. Just played her the song and then was like, peace.
That was just Purple Rain in real life.
What else do we have from our year in review section?
This is a year where so many crazy things didn't even get honorable mentions because there were so many big apocalyptic things that happened that is also just briefly scanning through. Like Richard Simmons disappeared 2 years ago. We don't know, no one's following up on that. There's just an article that was like, no one's seen Richard Simmons since 2014, and his friends are really worried. And it was like, yeah, but did you hear what that cheese doodle said about women and where you can grab them? I'm sorry, Richard Simmons. Just all these things, like The Rock and Vin Diesel got in a fight. Shia LaBeouf rapped. It was fine.
It was like pretty, fine.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders openly talked about the rapper Killer Mike and like this is almost a direct quote, like the name threw me at first, but he's never killed anyone. He is just a killer rapper, so it's fine. What a year!
Amazing.
What a year for straight. That bird landed.
What?
Yeah.
That
The bird on the podium.
The bird on the podium.
Bernie
when he
was
was
doing
doing
That bird, man. That bird. I'm sorry.
And then Donald Trump tried to play with an eagle, and it attacked him.
Yeah,
at
and
his
that was the
desk.
best. I'm proud of that eagle.
Amazing.
I know that the bird is a powerful symbol. You're just looking at a Hillary supporter for day one. I know that nobody else finds her inspiring. I've genuinely been inspired by her.
Quit
as a
putting
public
words in
figure.
my mouth. I've been
we
Hillary
were
day
talking
one.
backstage and I stayed silent just like I did during the Bernie Revolution. I felt just, she got sandbagged. She's been sandbagged for decades. And the bird, I just watched that bird land and was like, nature is taking her down at this point. I get it. If you are a Bernie person, I appreciate you, and the fire and passion in your heart is gorgeous, and I love it. I just think that Hillary Clinton would have made a brilliant executive leader. I think she is an excellent candidate to be a really, really incredible president. I think that the nomination process was brutal to watch as a Hillary supporter because it just didn't have to go that way, and the camps had so much more in common than the divisive nature of that, pre-election election allowed us to believe. It was very frustrating as a person who absolutely understands why you'd give a vote to Bernie, but still passionately believes that Hillary is the better candidate for president. Anyway, sorry.
I just thought it was weird that a bird landed on the podium.
It's weird. But I watched it happen just like we didn't.
There's an old
If
crack
a bird
podcast.
landed on Hillary's podium, it would have been like Hillary's causing global warming. That bird fell from the sky and dropped onto her podium. Like she just doesn't get the same spin. I'm sorry.
This guy loves Bernie. You yell at him now.
You don't have to yell at me.
I'm not going to yell at you. I think
I agree to a point. I think she would have been an amazing president and wonderful at the job. I think she's never been good at selling herself as good at a job. And as a candidate, she's not very good. She's not a strong candidate. She's great at the job that she does. And she would have been a great president.
But she wasn't talking to you. And I know that's very forward and direct, and I said it for a fact more than anything else. I just mean that her message was broader for a reason, and of course it's less dynamic to people who've been spoken directly to for centuries.
I don't need her to speak directly to me. I need her to... That doesn't matter.
But look around. Look around. Turn your head left and right.
do.
And Bernie had the same powerful effect, but Hillary had it too. When you look left and right at the people that were inspired, that fucking matters. And if the message fell a little flat for you, look left and right. If a 7-year-old girl is beaming, if a 35-year-old woman is beaming, if a black man who's 73 is beaming, that's essential to realize that message is reaching them, and maybe it's their turn. And
I voted for her.
I know. Of course you did.
I think she would have been a great president.
I know. Me too.
She still might be.
She might be. Fingers crossed.
She
Who
still
the
might
knows?
be.
The CIA. Not the National Enquirer. Like the Russians.
Yeah.
Do we have a clip?
Listen, this is what But the thing I wanted to talk about that I actually came prepared for. Dystopian movies are happening. How far away are we from Red Dawn? Like that's Russian for invade, and then school kids in the woods. I just feel like it's coming.
Russia's back,
I watched
baby.
John Gabers had that tweet that it was just quotes. Man, this Spider-Man Homecoming trailer looks really, really good, says guy who's living in Red Dawn.
Yahoo's top search terms, did you guys look at those? Yeah. They're like really weird. Like Gwen Stefani is number 3, the number 3 most searched thing. Like, so apparently the only people still using Yahoo are like in the year 2004, like legitimately, like.
That means the Venn diagram between people who use Yahoo and don't know who Gwen Stefani is a perfect circle.
Schmitty, is this the year that Gwen Stefani got divorced and then started seeing Blake Shelton?
I think I saw that on a lot of check-on Stan magazines, and I think
Yeah.
that was what was going on. Yeah.
That's the only explanation I
But it-
could
It's
give
not
for
like
that.
a good explanation.
No, but I mean, like, it's like
Yeah.
why it's if you're gonna search Gwen Stefani, that's a reason.
Also,
there
I
are
feel,
plenty of reasons.
Well, and I feel like I sounded dismissive of celebrity news just then. It's fun, it's great. But I feel like it did take more of a back seat than it usually does this year. Remember, this is a year when Kim Kardashian got like kidnapped and held hostage in Paris, maybe. At like basically the plot of Taken. Basically the plot of Taken, which led to Kanye West almost dying, and it was not something that hung a lot of us up. We just
Yeah.
focused on the world and the rest of what's happening.
They were the number 1 celebrities, like all for
Yeah.
And then this year, people were like, oh, he's having a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Whatevs.
He'll come back. He'll be
Right.
blonde. It's fine.
We forgot the kidnapping so hard that when Kanye West was like, I don't think I can do this show anymore. I have to stop this show today. And then the next day, checked into a hospital. They're like, crazy Kanye. What's
Right.
eating him, I wonder?
Yeah, right.
Anybody who was present for when he shut the show down, but then the lights came up and he slowly was like,
Still
like
working his way
glided out of the thing with the lights up and just in abject silence, just like kind of standing there awkwardly while everybody watched him.
Yeah.
Got their money's worth. Like that was the best show of the year. Cody, you were talking about for the year in review, like the idea that we're still not acknowledging that like there are just 2 separate realities being discussed in media is insane. Like the fact that anyone's trying to be like, yeah, this is objective reality is crazy.
Like you can read a year in review and it says, oh yeah, and then on this date, Bernie Sanders endorsed Hillary Clinton because he believes in unity and defeating Donald Trump. Or you could read a year in review that says Bernie Sanders sells the out and like he's trying to get political gain and he's spineless and there's just no agreement on what is real and what is true and what we are all experiencing.
And that is deliberate. That is a concerted effort on the part of people who ran a very well-organized, weird campaign that just proved incredibly successful.
Right.
I'm assuming that a lot of us saw the Guardian piece, which I ironically found on Facebook, which basically
Guardians of
lays
the Galaxy
out
trailer.
how Google and Facebook have been incredibly effectively hacked to spread a specific tone of information. We just talked about Yahoo. If you Google "are Jews," the first response to "are Jews evil," "are women evil," "are Muslims bad," are all the first autofills, and this is that was on purpose. So
Yahoo is just "are Jews Gwen Stefani?"
Yes.
Right, you can do the same.
Yes.
Like you can type in crooked and like some search engines
Hillary, right,
but
exactly.
not all of them because that's not what people are Googling.
Right, and think about how that changes the tone of your life if you are a Jew and you just pop into Google to see, like, are Jews serving bagels near me? Like, the primary purveyor of information globally, what it's going to tell you is like, nope, too evil to get a bagel. Go back to a bank,
Right.
Jew face, no bagels for you. Do not isolate the audio for me yelling that.
Also, I feel like that's on them. Like you should Google like where can I get bagels?
Yeah, absolutely
Not,
fair.
are
But I
there
think the
Jews
first
serving
result
bagels
is
around
currently
here?
bagels are only available in banks. Do not get them. Like, I think that is currently the third response on Google.
Shall we move on to stories everyone got wrong this year? I do feel like Trump monopolized the media so much that there are a lot of stories that nobody paid attention to that should have been, maybe, or at least would have been in any other year. Like bears. are just everywhere attacking people. Russian scientists were trapped in a weather station by polar bears for like a week.
The same way that there are all these bears attacking people, apparently. I saw what read like a very impotent headline a couple months ago, which was just someone who clearly knows that he's not the star this year, but he's like, look, scientists keep finding two-headed sharks and nobody knows why. That's happened this year. And just a scientist was like, I want to put it out there. There's a bunch of two-headed sharks. We're all concerned about like on-land threats right now and governmental threats right now. But if anyone feels safe and has time, we're really scratching our heads over this.
But even that, there are these two-headed sharks showing up, and they're reporting like, oh, we gotta take care of these two-headed sharks. What are we gonna do? They die immediately. Yeah. They're two-headed shark babies.
Oh.
They're not like
babies.
adult
They're not
two-headed sharks.
Okay, they're right. That
I'm not
is
saying
different.
we need to fear the two-headed sharks. I'm saying there are more two-headed sharks than there ever were before. Let's get a dialogue going.
They can just do it themselves.
Alex, you saw something about a Supreme Court something happening this year? I don't. What's a Supreme Court?
Yeah. So we have three
It's a
branches
court with
of government.
sour cream and a little
nice.
guacamole.
Delicious.
Yeah, this year, for the first time, we had the Senate just decide the president doesn't get to pick Supreme Court justices. For the first time in 200 odd years.
What
that just happened.
Holding the ball away from the game. Just no, you don't get to play. I'm not going to let you play.
And then claiming that like the game doesn't work.
Yeah, right. The game's ruined.
The game's
Right.
broken because I'm holding the ball over here because I'm a baby.
Yeah. But so the Senate did this throughout the election, and then we had an election where we picked a new Senate, right? Or at least a third of the Senate's up every 2 years. And of all the Senate seats that were up, only 2 of them changed parties. It depends. One of them depends on how a runoff in Louisiana goes today when we're recording it. But
Yeah, get out and vote a couple of days ago.
it's like 9:00 p.m. there. But we were like, oh, the Senate, one branch of government shut down another branch of government to spite a third branch of government. And I don't know, let's bring those people back. They seem fun, you know? They have a good time. Yeah. And I feel like that should have been reported widely.
In terms of things people got wrong, there's a lot of backlash in terms of like, oh, the media got it wrong. They said Trump was going to lose all year and he won. The fake news, they got it wrong. Right. But like the real story that a lot of people got wrong is like him and what he's going to do for people who voted for him.
Right.
Like there's that regret is going to set in, and it's starting to set in a little bit already. And he's not the president yet.
That was something that was covered in the aftermath of Brexit. Like the morning after the Brexit vote, they were like, "Hey, so you clearly regret what you did, right?" And they were like, "Yeah,
for sure.
we did. We made a big mistake. We just thought we were like voting symbolically."
Right. Goof,
you guys.
like-
Yeah, big goof on our part, our bad. But nobody, I think the media was so like chastened by being so cocky about like having it right that Clinton was going to win heading into the election, that they have just like swerved in this other direction that like Trump is this legitimate person, where in actuality he's the least popular president-elect ever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And that's something that's been deeply confusing to me for the messaging of his victory, is that he's still calling it a movement, and so many of the think pieces that came out were like,
It's a movement,
you really
all right."
you all underestimated the classism that was happening in America. These poor white unrepresented people, you misunderstood. He was reaching out to a lot of people who never get reached out to, and there's some truth to that. But like the narrative was like, you f***ed up, you weren't paying attention. Well, no, Hillary and I still won by quite a bit in terms of like sheer numbers of people who came out to vote. And like I don't understand the messaging where it's like, I got more votes in the Electoral College. Good. That means you're the canny politician. That means you're the clever one who figured out how to win the system. It doesn't mean you're part of a movement. You don't get a mandate. You came in third in terms of how many people wanted a president. First was no one, because people didn't show up to vote. Second was Hillary. Third was you. In terms of like amount of people who woke up on November 8th or did early voting and wanted to exercise their choice of who should be president, you came in third, President Boy.
Yeah. Right, more votes for president, except for Obama in 08, I think.
I think you're exactly right that these promises that Trump's making aren't going to come true. The people who followed him are already starting to feel regrets. But the part where Trump's false bravado on places like Twitter and behind a podium will merge with the very real policies that will be enacted by his cabinet happens when those promises don't come true. And what Trump has been very cleverly doing is telling us who our enemies are. And when he needs somebody to blame, he's not going to have to invent one. And I bet a lot of people in the seats in the room are on that list. I'm on that list. It's not a comfortable position to be in to just wait for people to realize they're not going to get their coal jobs back and blame gays in space. Like, I know that the rage that comes from that loss, and if we have been ignoring people and people have been left behind here, their rage is legitimate. It is criminal and tragic to me that it will be funneled toward people who just don't look or sound like them. If you're conservative, good on you. I'm obviously a liberal person. I hold no resentment toward someone with conservative views. We both believe in democracy. We both believe in this country and the concept that founded it, and if not founded it, at least came along with the Bill of Rights. We're still moving in the same direction. I want to work with conservative people, and I always have. The people I cannot hold court with are fascists. And they're everywhere right now. And I got no patience for you. If you don't appreciate democracy and you don't appreciate the Constitution, which is what you're doing when you start lashing out at people the way people are going to, I have deep fears and anxieties, and I also just got an emotional support animal, so I'm handling it in the most bullshit privileged way possible.
And what's that ESA animal? What's his or her Instagram again?
Her name is Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan, and her Instagram is her Instagram is @Major_Houlihan.
Let's get to our cultural things of the year. Daniel?
I am going with buzz phrases, which is a thing that I feel very trapped in my own self. Like, the day after the election, I'm just like, mumble, 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 bubble. We were all in a bubble. Now we all say bubble over and over again. And bubble is in the headline of everything. And now
Fake news.
Mumble, 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 fake news, fake news. Everyone just says fake news all the time. Like, I just feel like we are creating this strange shorthand of catchy buzz phrases, and we're essentially speaking to one another in sound bites at this point.
Cody, what is your cultural thing of the year?
Yeah, I'm sorry for this. I kind of want to talk about Harambe briefly.
Oh, no.
Just because this is, I think, a really good example of where we are this year and where we are now in our lives, where nothing matters and no one really cares about what they say they care about. Like, I'll talk about the alt-right a little bit, but just like people in general.
Nazis. You can say Nazis.
The Nazi party. Using Harambe as like this symbol of honor and like dicks out for Harambe. Like I still see the Harambe meme everywhere, and it's bullshit because you don't give a about gorillas. You don't care at all. Like, but you still see these people using him as this symbol of something they don't believe in, but it's effective. And like, I just hate it so much. If you really if you cared about it, you would donate to like a wildlife refuge. You wouldn't Photoshop a Make America Great hat on a picture of a gorilla. That's nothing. You don't care.
Jason and I were talking about the idea that PETA ads having nudity in it were specifically designed to kind of mock the conservative people, because not only were they like telling them how to raise their animals, which like they're who give us all our meat, but they're like doing it without clothes on, like just, rubbing their values in their faces. I wonder if the Harambe thing was that in reverse, where it's the right wing being like, haha, dead animals, you, like, and like pretending, like mocking their values.
Right. I feel like, there's a little bit of that. Because, I mean, they're all like half trolls, and they think that that's the way to communicate with people.
Right.
And there is that element to it where they're just like, yeah, Harambe, like we're all sad about it, right? You know.
What is your cultural thing of the year? Yeah.
It's so cheesy. It's the Obama Biden memes.
Good. Those are fun.
But I look at my phone and scroll through disaster after painful, heartbreaking story, one after the other, and then up pops a stupid picture of Joe Biden in sunglasses. It's the the air gets fresher. Like my heart gets lighter. I love it so much.
Alex, your cultural thing of the year.
There's a Samantha Bee segment where she tries to get a mascot suit from the NRA because they have a mascot for children to be safe with guns called Eddie Eagle. and it's an amazing piece. She faces very, very strict eagle regulation and incredibly loose gun regulation. They send people all over the country to try to get one various places. She builds a fake gun safety group to try to get one and can't get one. And in the meantime, she just builds up an arsenal of weaponry behind her that falls over at one point. And it's amazing, but also it and other stuff. I feel like we really had plenty of satire this year and plenty of comedy that was politically conscious this year, and we should keep it up. It's great, but like that's even. I feel like that piece about guns is even building on past gun satire. You know, like we're satiring as well as we can as a country, and we need to do the other things too.
Right.
Organize and vote and do.
Wait, are you saying that calling him
inspired.
Drumpf didn't help?
And now we take you forward a year into the future for 1 minute from the 2017 year in review. You want to go first? Nope. We're going to start with Alex.
Oh man, 2017. I am so amazed and fascinated by that successful impeachment. Now, I'd like to spend... Hang on. I have the rest of my 50 seconds. They made my new iPhone wrong, and now I can focus on that, and I'm really hung up on it, and the dongle's not properly et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that new iPhone sucked and we didn't even notice, right? I mean, what the you guys? What happened to us? Caitlin.
It's 2017, and I'm reporting from inside the camps. Lesbian camp is actually pretty great, if I'm being honest.
Hey, Cody.
Hey, what's up? I wanted to talk about early January. Early this year, Donald Trump was sworn in as the 45th President of the United States. And in true Trumpian fashion, Donald bucked tradition and shoved his wife, Melania, to the ground and shouted, "I don't want to be in the White House. I just want to be in Ivanka." Nobody gasped. Following this, Mr. Putin stood and, after a brief but tender touching of tongues with the new president, unzipped Trump's pants, revealing what Donald has told us all along: he has a big old dick. Unfortunately, it tastes exactly like cat food.
Hey, Dan.
I'm delivering this minute of 2017 year review from prison because I've published a book called How to Fight Presidents, and that's illegal now. And also because I called President Boy Trump a crater-faced cheese doodle once on this podcast a few months ago, and then again just now he's a crater-faced cheese doodle. But that said, I have nothing but positive things to report. Boy of the Year, Donald Trump's approval rating briefly and immediately plummets. And because he's so sensitive, that's the only thing that he cares about. So calling in a favor, he has former President Barack Obama stick around as America's dad for a while. It's not like an official position or anything. He's just like, Barack, I'm really sad and I don't know what to do. And like Barack was gonna go like own the Warriors or go to Hawaii. And everything remains mostly fine because President Obama stays our president secretly for the next 8 years?
Sure.
Can I be greedy?
Let's call it 8.
Yeah.
All right, that's all the time we have, guys. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Happy New Year.
See you in the comment section.